Jason wins. Fatality.
Alright, hey, and welcome to Underground Horror Radio. This arm's gotta go. I need a new arm. We should, have a fund so I can get a fucking arm for this guy. Why am I even wearing headphones? I don't even need these. I sound muffled. Anyway, welcome to the stream. Sorry it took a little while to get here. Technical issues. Everybody who does this DIY style knows this is fucking hard. A little hard. Not too hard, but hard enough. It's not the same thing as running a professional thing, so it's all good in the hood. Let's see. All right, so hopefully we'll get some people in the chat. Come hang out. Our friends Starbell and El Bandito up there as well. They had a good show the other day. They mentioned this, so that was cool. Shako Rama is on next week for Night of the Comet anniversary. Very cool. Day after Valentine's Day. Next week we'll have a little Valentine's Day kind of special thing. Probably. So anyway, hopefully everybody's having a good week so far. Today's been a disaster and a half, so that kind of sucks, but we're still here. Now, last week was the shark beer. This week is, it's called Kronenberg. So, obviously I'm going to drink it, right? But not from Canada. It's from France. Kind of the same thing. But actually, I found out about this in England when I was there a couple of years ago. So, that was cool. So, I like the beer. Tastes good. All right, so what we can talk about. Well, it's Ladies and Women in Horror Month, which is awesome in February. So we're going to do a little bit of stuff for the ladies as far as some pictures, some women in horror that I know personally and that I met, including my wife, who is obviously a woman in horror between this show and writing all the vampire books she's got out. 3, by the way. And we have some here, so, I'll sell it to you. Cheap. $20 ain't bad. So anyway, that's going on now. Oh, you like that? Instagram. So at J Mcpatches or Underground Horror Radio. Let's see, what else have I been up to? Oh, last week we hung out at with Arcade Rican. His stream over on Twitch, which we're working on soon. He was playing Resident Evil 2, the new one, not the 98 one, which was... It was a good game. It looks cool. I'm into horror, but I'm not into, how do I put it? Like, that kind of horror games. Friday the 13th, I like. Dead by Daylight's pretty good. So, but, again, the original Resident Evil 2 was great. I had the Nintendo 64 version, it was decent, but it was like, compared to a disc back then, it was very compact. Just, yeah. It's a lot to put on a little, cartridge compared to a disc. Back then discs on PlayStation 1, if it was a huge game, it'd be like 2 to 3 discs, 4. I can't remember how much was in Final Fantasy 7, but it was a lot. Any messages? No. Oh, well. I'll write something in the chat. Hi. Did that even pop up? Who knows? Let me see. See, this is the fun of being live. Oh, yeah. See, I didn't have it up. Dude, dummy. Oh, see? Mrs. Mcpatches. Well, that's a lovely name. I'm sure she's very nice. That's my wife. She'll be on here soon. She plays the shit out of Dead by Daylight, so that's her thing. I do okay as Michael. Well, Freddy. I think I got a clip later I'll play. But yeah, I like being Freddy. That's pretty much that. I play more Friday the 13th. And, they had a big update and didn't fix anything. Thank you. Yes, I am silly, but I love you too. I get that. Yeah, just fucking Friday. Gun Media. And so here's the rumor. Gun Media, supposedly people are talking about Gun Media might... as developers are gonna put out like a Halloween game, Michael Myers. Yeah, no. And then, again, Friday the 13th game looks like a Friday the 13th movie. They do love horror in that aspect where it was detailed to fucking hell and back, and it was awesome. But fucking gameplay and all the bugs and all the glitches and then the whole lawsuit and then the whole, oh, we don't have Uber Jason. It's just, I don't want to fucking up Halloween. You know, I mean, that was a Kickstarter project. I'm sure now they might have a bigger budget or something, but I don't have any faith. I don't have any faith in the big ones either, though. Like Rockstar, they're fucking up. Played fucking GTA today, and it's fucking 6 years. And, oh, everybody left the lobby, a.k.a. you left the lobby. My internet's fine. I don't have a bad internet. My PlayStation's fine. What's the fucking problem? And then the whole Red Dead Online, we'll get to that later. That'll be a whole gaming thing. But this is about horror, fantasy, and sci-fi, so... All right, what to do? Let's see. Let's get the list out here. Let's see. Now, I don't remember how exactly I had this laid out. So this will be fun. It'll be like a surprise. Like, cool. And people are making noises downstairs again. Yay! Okay. That's not the right image. Although, it's important. In case you didn't know, I say a lot of bad words. So, all right. First one is going to be, here we go. Heather Langenkamp, Nightmare on Elm Street. She's in 3 of the, I think it's 8 movies. I think 8's like Jason versus Freddy. I think so. So out of 8 movies, she's in 3 of them. And it's like some of the really good ones, like 1, 3, and then New Nightmare. So that's pretty good. And she's in a bunch of other stuff, and she was on a TV show, and I met her at Spooky Empire. I think it was 2012. I think it was that long ago. And a super nice lady. The interview's up on Podbean, I think. If not, it's on, what's it called? Bandcamp. I got to start putting them all in one spot. I've had so many years of doing this that it's like, you know, getting lost. Okay, so that was our first one. Yay, goodbye, Heather. That wasn't it. Okay, next one up. We don't want that. Oh, shit, what'd I do? Nope. Okay, Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah. I mean, she's the original... Well, Marilyn... Was it Marilyn Chambers or Marilyn Burns? That was in the end of Texas Chainsaw. She would be kind of like... It was Burns, yeah. Thank you, Mrs. Mcpatches. I don't know who that is because I'm Justin Jordan, but whatever. Yeah, so she was in that. And technically that was kind of, you know, before Halloween. Same thing with Black Christmas, but Halloween's the one that really took off the slasher thing. So yeah, of course, Jamie Lee Curtis, who has only been in 4 Halloween movies. You know, first one, second one, H2O, H40. You know, new Halloween. So she's still kicking. She was in Terror Train, Prom Night, Scream Queens, which is a fun show. So yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis is like up there. So. You know, obviously women in horror. And, you know, Michelle Williams was in this. And Jodie Lynn O'Keefe, she's in all kinds of stuff that's horror. I mean, she's like on stuff on the CW. She's been in sci-fi original movies that were terrible. I think she was in was it Wolf Lake Creek? It had Lou Diamond Phillips. I can't remember what it was called, but yeah. So she was in that. And so, yeah, big, you know, women in horror. Okay, now that that's done, let's go to the next one. Venus DeVilo from Ireland, huge musician, is pretty much like the Queen of Halloween as she put it over there, and that's awesome. And she's on the show once or twice, and that was really cool. So yeah, so there you go. And Jessica Lantern. Well, we got the whole month to do this, so we're gonna have more. Okay, and who we got last but not least? That's not it. Here we go. Ah, yes, the twins. Yes, Sylvia and Jen Zoska. The Twisted Twins, as it were. Just awesome. I met them in 2013 at a convention, and they just went to Spooky Empire last year, and at all that time, they're pretty much still the same. They're both sweethearts, hugging. I told them about how I do the unboxing videos, so I have to let them know when I do one for Vampire Willow, because that is one of their favorite characters. So, And it was a whole thing. So I'm going to do that, and I have another figure I got to open for them too. So they also do a blood drive every year for February for Women in Horror Month. It's great. It's just they do a great job with it, and they're very active in the horror community. They got Rabbit coming out sometime this year. They're not much for remakes, but when it comes to horror and like Cronenberg in Canada, I think I have faith in it. They know what they're doing. So big shout out to all these ladies for, ladies in horror, women in horror. Is it? Let's see. Nope. That's the next one. Ah, there's nothing. Okay. So that's the end of that. So anyway, anybody out there want to talk about something, let me know. I'm here to solve all your problems and make you feel better. I am not a professional psychiatrist, but I like to drink. A bartender makes a good psychologist. That's what I witnessed. I like them. I like hanging out at bars too, but not so much now. Like, not those kind of bars. Pubs are cool. Like this beer. Basement. I was in a basement. That was really cool. All right, so horror news. What else is coming up this month? Let's see. Trying to think. We got Shakarama. We know about that. That's going to be in a couple weeks. Next week, I think, for Night of the Comet, which is a classic movie. I already explained the plot last week. You got to go down Lake Worth and see it for yourself. It's not bad. $10. Cult classic on a big screen. I mean, that doesn't happen every day. And pirating videos and putting it on YouTube and showing it in your backyard with the whatever the hell you hang up on stuff like your sheets or whatever doesn't count. A drive-in would be nice, but I don't know where there's a lot of drive-ins anymore. I know that Lake Worth, Florida, where I'm from, more or less, they have one still. So that's kind of cool. I think they have 2 screens. So that's badass. It's good to have that still. It's starting to think what else is going on this month. It's early. It's like the second week of February. I mean, the first was Saturday. I don't count that. So it's like the first official week of February. So next week's Valentine's special. We're going to talk about what movies tie in with Valentine's Day. Maybe some vampire stuff. That'll be cool. We don't have any toys on box this week. If I keep doing that every week, I'm not going to have anything on box later. Sucks. I know this is starting off pretty terrible, but that's okay. We're just here to hang out. And see if I can pull up anything else that'd be cool to look at. Nope, that just killed that. Nah, that's just my video game thing, so. Alright, let me go back to the chat. Hey, everyone. I got nothing. Maybe I should be playing a game. I think I'm going to start playing games because this whole thing's got me flustered. Not really. Let's see. Facebook. Good old Facebook. When I say that, I mean, fuck Facebook. Facebook's a nightmare. What is all going on with this? So, this happened today. So, I'm in a horror group, obviously. I'm running a horror show. So I was in a horror group today, and somebody... I think the question was what movie, or what movies had the killer or whatever win and all the survivors die. A couple I can think of was, what did I say? I said, I don't remember what I said. I know I said Evil Dead until Evil Dead 2. The reason why is because Bruce Campbell said in the Blu-ray that I own that in the first one, because they never planned on making a sequel, that everybody died. Ash died. And then later on, their other movies weren't working out, so they decided, okay, we'll do Evil Dead 2. And so how are we going to bring back people and that kind of thing? And then with them not having the rights to their own movie, because New Line owned the Evil Dead at the time, they might still do, I'm not sure. And because of that, they kind of had to reshoot everything. But basically how Evil Dead 2 starts is there's all that stuff with Linda. That's like a recap. And then once he gets hit by the Force coming through the house and everything, the Evil Dead, Evil Force, that's when part 2 actually starts. But officially, in part 1, he did die. And some guy tried arguing with me. I went to watch them. Fuck, get out of here. Like I make up shit. I don't have time for that. Where can you find us? Available on Podbean. Yep, if you type in Underground Horror Radio or type in Not For Air, that'll be there. You can find us on Instagram. You know, I should take a picture of it. I figured out where my phone went. I think I threw it. Yeah, let's take a picture for Instagram. Let's do that. Let's be cool. If I can unlock it. See, these things are nightmares. Fucking phones. Everything's fucking with me. All right, Instagram. Now, I'll do one for J Mcpatches, which you can see me at if you happen to be on there. So go there, and I'm going to take a picture now live in the not studio. Here we go. Photo. Fucking a selfie. Let's do it that way. That's atrocious. So there we go. It is live in the studio. So there was that one, and then I will do one for Underground Horror Radio. Which, on Instagram, at Underground Horror Radio. I didn't type it there because the name of the show is in the center there in big letters. So, let's do it this one. Let's do this one slightly different. Let's do it. Oh, yeah, my hair is a mess. Yeah, that's the green screen, I know. There we go. Yeah, I don't care. Looks terrible, but whatever. In like 10 to 12 years, if I ever become somebody, fingers crossed, they'll be like, wow, he took a picture. Yeah. It's not going to happen, but it's all good. So that happened in a horror group today. And then, so I'm learning this whole Twitch thing. That's coming. They do anything on Twitch. It's cool. I mean, I've seen people watching the State of the Union address on there. I've seen people, you know, pretty much watch anything. And then they just talk like this. So that's kind of cool. So that's neat. I think that's pretty cool. I will see if I can do that. It's better than this. But no, it's let's see. It's February. It's cold out. Hopefully everybody melted a little bit and then there's not a giant snowstorm. I'm trying to think. Oh, Happy Death Day to you. So that's coming out this week, next week. It's coming out next weekend for Valentine's Day or after it. It's a sequel to the Blumhouse movie Happy Death Day, which was like a Groundhog Day type movie that this girl ended up in a time loop. Doesn't explain how or why yet. Maybe this movie will. Or maybe not. I mean, I kind of like having not knowing what's going on with that kind of stuff. Sometimes a little less is better. Michael Myers doesn't need a backstory. As opposed to, this is why he did all that. Fucking cares. So, basically, yeah, this girl's stuck in a time loop, lives the day over and over again. Obviously, the things turned out okay, I'll say that much. And now there's a sequel. And so it's supposed to be happening again and to a bigger scale. So definitely looking forward to that. Blumhouse hasn't, I mean, like, again, other than like that Truth or Dare movie, which I heard was like not that good. I haven't seen it yet. So I've seen other Truth or Dares that were pretty good. But I haven't seen that one yet with Lucy Hale or whatever. So yeah, I haven't seen it. So, but everything else that I watched that Blumhouse has put out has been great. I haven't seen Upgrade, but everything I've seen so far between the Conjurings and the Sinisters, Halloween, the Purge movies. Again, I didn't see the, what's it called, the first Purge, but I've seen the other ones. Like the original Purge trilogy was pretty good. I digged it. And they had a TV show. So, yeah, I think it'll be fine. I think they'll do just fine with it. They're pretty much the people to go to for horror right now. And that's good because we kind of needed that. They definitely, I don't know, I would like to see a movie directed by women for it too, though. I mean, that was a topic a while ago, but it'd be kind of cool. You know, all kind of talented people. But I had to say that the other news I heard is that Universal, I think I might have said this last week, but Universal is, they've been trying to do this Dark Universe thing for ever. because of Marvel. Everybody wants to do what Marvel did and combine everything, but they don't have the natural talent for it. And so far, it's been eh. So anyway, now I think Blumhouse is involved, and they're going to make it like horror again, and with the classic monsters. But they're not starting off with like super popular. They're not doing like the Wolfman. They're not doing Dracula. They're not doing what was the last one? The Mummy. Now they're doing the Invisible Man. I think is the first one. So that'd be cool. I think I did say this last week because there hasn't been a Invisible Man thing since I think Hollow Man or Hollow Man 2, but like last one I saw was Hollow Man. Yeah, so that's going to be cool. I don't know any further than that, but I think it'll be neat. The other thing that's coming up, besides Night of the Comet, Happy Death Day to You, there's all the Marvel movies, which is more into science fiction. That's neat, but we'll get to that when they get here, I guess. But I can say this: I did watch. I've been watching Jaws. It's on Netflix, but not Jaws. I mean, Jaws. All four are on Netflix. I own 1 and 2 on Blu-ray and on DVD because those are the two. Like, I'm good with it. One's just amazing. Magic in a bottle, lightning kind of thing. And 2 is a very good film on its own, if you think about it. But I think I'll do that more towards the summer. That's more of a summer review thing. And I never really actually sat down and did like a very comprehensive Jaws review. So that's coming up in the summer. But I did watch Jaws 3. And I started, but I already know, I've seen them both a million times. All the movies. I used to stay up for marathons. Like back in the day, TBS or one of the Ted Turner networks. I think TNT. They would do like, late, all-night marathons. So they did the Jaws marathon, but they cheated. So they did Jaws, which is a long movie anyway, but when you have the commercials, it makes it longer for what they cut out, which isn't very much because it wasn't that violent. But you got Jaws, was pretty long, Jaws 2. And then what they do is go back to Jaws 1. And then the last movie they showed was Jaws the Revenge. So this is high school, I stayed up for this. I cheated though. When Jaws 1 came back on, I took a nap. Because I just watched Jaws. And I love it, but I'm not going to be able to sit there and stay awake and watch it again. And so I took a nap, and then when Jaws 4 came on, I watched it. That's how dedicated I was. I still am. So, Jaws 3, which is the SeaWorld one. Dennis Quaid doesn't remember being in it. But he was. And Louis Gossett Jr. was in it from Iron Eagle and from The Punisher, the Dolph Lundgren Punisher. Not any of the recent ones. And so, yeah, I grew up here in Florida. This is where I'm at. And everybody knows that in Florida, SeaWorld is in Orlando. Okay. This is the 80s. This is like 83. So SeaWorld was around. And Jaws is Universal. Okay. So, in this movie, SeaWorld is like right off the beach. Maybe not right. Well, yeah, pretty close right off the beach. But there's like a channel, aka an inlet, that goes in, and they have a gate to keep stuff out of the open ocean. So they have this man-made lagoon that's salt water, and shit lives in it and all that. So basically the plot is the shark, great white, gets in. Breaks the gate, kills a guy, gets in. In a lagoon. Fine. It's salt water. It's livable. There's plenty of stuff. There's groupers in there like the size of, So it turns out the first time there was a shark thing, it was, I guess it had a baby. That whole plot was like, whatever. The shark kind of looked dumb. The shark design overall wasn't terrible, except for the 3D shots, which happened. Because the thing with this movie was it was the gimmick of the 3D stuff. So everything was like Friday the 13th 3D. Like, oh, hey, I have this in your face for no reason. That kind of thing. And so, it was the 80s. And so they're watching it. I'm watching it. And it's terrible. It's not the worst film, but it's like the shark looked okay. They're in a theme park. They added that in. That's kind of cool. But it's just, I don't know. It didn't feel like Jaws. I know they're going for something different. The music, this theme they have is just, bleh. And what I noticed about Jaws 1 and 2 is John Williams did the music for both. And Jaws 2 even had its own kind of different theme, but it worked. Jaws 3 they used the shark theme in every movie. They changed it somewhat, but it was okay. But the rest of the music was like this, I don't know, it's just happy-go-lucky. And Leah Thompson's in it too. I forgot to mention that. That was like one of her first roles before Back to the Future. So it's connected because it's Dennis Quaid is like Michael Brody, the oldest son out of the two, and he works as I think he builds things. I think he's like I know he built the gate and stuff like that at SeaWorld. So you would think after the whole shark attack sailing thing that maybe he would have, had a I can't deal with this. It happened to his brother, and he doesn't like the water, but, Anyway, Jaws 3, yeah. The ending was okay. Why? I don't want to worry about spoilers. If you haven't seen this movie since, it's been out since 1983, whatever, how long ago that is, that's, yeah. No. It's like 36 years, or 35. You should get your shit together and watch it. And then, so that's, Jaws 3 is okay. It's not as good as 2 and 1. If it's on, I might watch it. Now, Jaws Revenge, that's where things get real fucking dicey and shitty. And it's not Lance Guest. Okay, so Lance Guest is in this. Before that, it was, I think, The Last Starfighter, which is great. Great flick. And before that was like Halloween 2. It was one of the guys that worked in the hospital, Jimmy. So, okay, so Lance Guest is in Mario Van Peebles. I think this is before Highlander 3. Or maybe around the time of Highlander 3. Highlander 3. It was all right. And then and Lorraine Gary's in it again as the mom. So I think they scrubbed the continuity from 3. I don't even know if they scrub it from 2. But basically, the son, Sean, became a cop like his dad. Okay. Cool. And then instead of working at SeaWorld and building things, I guess in 4, Lance Guest's character, who's Michael, is like a marine biologist. Sure, why not? Who lives in the Bahamas. Okay, so anyway, Sean dies in the beginning. It's this whole thing. And then it's all about, like, it's his personal, the shark's following him. It's a stupid plot. I know that there was some books that were written that explained some kind of voodoo curse that was put on the Brodies, like from ancestors or whatever. I don't know if that actually makes it any better, though, because it's like, well, okay. But in this one, it's like, and then it follows them from, fucking New England, Massachusetts, Amity, in the winter, all the way down to the Bahamas. That's a long swim. And I there's a lot of shark trackings on the internet now. This is 87, so no. But, we see them patterns. They come in for the winter here, and it's warmer. They do their thing. They're offshore. Anyway. And yes, there's great whites in the Bahamas once in a while, too. But it literally follows them. My biggest problem with this movie isn't so much the plot or the acting. The acting is all right. Michael Caine's in it. Good old Michael Caine. It bought him a house, anyway. He never seen the movie, but it bought him a very nice house, as he puts it. So the shark looks dumb. Like, and I know people now are going to go, well, they all looked fake. I'm like, it looked better than CGI, trust me. But the last one they did, it's like the gums were there more. It was all like, it looked like a bathtub toy. Like, seriously. They showed the whole thing this time instead of like pieces and stuff like they did with the original. They had the top shots and all that, but underwater, it didn't even look like it swam. It just kind of floated awkwardly. I don't know if you ever watched any videos with sharks in them, especially great whites. They're not awkward looking when they swim. They're very, very good. They can be very quick and they're very streamlined, like that. So, why? Why the fuck would you do that? And I think my biggest problem with this movie is the fact that it's Jaws related. It's Jaws. If it wasn't like, say, Jaws, and it was like every other sci-fi movie out there, I wouldn't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't. but because they linked Jaws to it, it was like, oh, fuck. Christ, here we go. So, yeah. So anyway, the rest happens. There's not that many kills in the movie with the shark. It just sucks. You know, it had some good couple seconds of things, but overall it was a terrible movie. It's like the worst one. And it's good to make fun of, you know, get your friends together, Mystery Science Theater it, riff it, whatever. But yeah, it's not good. But the reason why I bring it up is because I've been playing this game called Sea of Thieves, right? I never, you know, I got an Xbox now. And I never, you know, I was like, when I first heard about it, I'm like, yeah, pirates, whatever. So I'm like, fuck it. I'll give it a shot. I got it for free for a month. So the graphics, I think it's on the Fortnite engine. So the graphics are kind of like that. But the water looks amazing. The detail and the graphics as far as the water movement and everything is very fluid. Rough seas, everything, storms. It's cool. And so there's like a megalodon, and there's sharks in it, but there's a megalodon, you know, big shark. And so being on I have a small pirate ship, just I can man it by myself, and it's like the ending of Jaws 4, you know. But I have cannons, and I have like I have like a, what do they call it, a fucking not a shotgun, but anyway, I can't remember the name of the gun, but it's one of those shotgun types, you know. And I got like a more or less sniper rifle, and I haven't killed him yet. He sank my boat once, killed me like twice, and then I heard him and I pissed him off and he left. He's like swam off, but I didn't actually get to kill him. So I've been looking for him. I got killed by a kraken twice. That's not fun. But yeah, it's a fun game though. You fight skeletons. That's kind of cool. But yeah, it's the shark part's pretty cool. I'm a nerd like that though. And yeah, so anyway, that's my synopsis of 3 and 4 of Jaws. That's on Netflix. Been watching that. I'm trying to think what other. Oh, The Terminator. So yeah, The Terminator's on Netflix too. And I haven't seen it in a while. You know, it's a great movie. You know, T2 is like the most popular one, but The Terminator is a great movie. So I'm watching it, and I'm listening to it very carefully this time as it's playing out, and they're running Sarah Connor and. Is running from it, and Kyle Reese, and the music they're playing is like very synthy, and it has this like horror movie feeling to it, like a slasher flick. Not quite Carpenter level, you know, of synths, but because you think about it, yeah, he's a machine from the future, dressed as a human, happens to be Arnold Schwarzenegger, big in that movie. He was like really big too, and like yeah. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Like, you know, it was straight up more of a horror movie, kind of like Maniac Cop in a way. You know, this unstoppable killing machine. You know, the way it was paced, the way it was shot, and mind you, James Cameron did both, but it was more horror, and it was still sci-fi, and it wasn't really action adventure yet. Now, Terminator 2 became more of an action movie. You know, everything, of course, everything got 100% better to make up everything. The Liquid Terminator, but it wasn't as much as, you know, a cat and mouse. It is, but now you got the machine on your side, so it's not just like poor human Kyle Reese that's getting banged up here. And the whole tone switched into more of a sci-fi action as opposed to like a horror sci-fi. So Terminator still it's creepy, especially when he comes out of the wreckage and he's the robot. And even with the 80s puppet animation, it's awesome. And, you know, that movie is a product of the 80s. And it's awesome. It's 84. Good movie. So, yeah, if you haven't watched Terminator in a while, the first one, watch it. You know, you might like it. Especially if you pick up on the things I picked up on. I'm trying to think what other horror movies I watched lately. I haven't really watched a lot of movies. I think last week I spoke about the vampire one that me and Nicole watched. And she's not in the chat anymore because she's playing Dead by Daylight back there. Yeah, so I haven't really watched any movies. I can't think of any I've seen lately that are horror. I mean, I watch TV. I'm trying to think what I haven't seen lately. The usual, like the Arrow, the comic stuff. Watched a little bit of that. I guess Supernatural is the closest thing, I guess, to kind of a horror show. Like, I don't watch The Walking Dead anymore. Yeah, I never got into it that much. Yeah. So, I haven't been doing much. Yeah, I just been playing games. Let's see. Okay, so I might stream this eventually. I've been playing the Ghostbusters game, the third one. Okay, the third movie, the game. So the one that came out on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 about, I think it was 2008. It might have been 10 years ago or so. Or maybe 2013. I can't remember. But it was done up by Atari. Had the entire cast back, except Rick Moranis, who was retired still at the time, taking care of his family and all that. But it had everybody else. It had, and this is before Harold Ramis passed away. So you had Harold Ramis, Ernie Hudson, Dan Aykroyd, and Bill Murray, who didn't completely phone it in, I think. He did a good job. But yeah, so they look like him and everything. It was a fun game. You're like this no name. You don't have a voice. You don't talk. Fifth guy. A rookie testing out the equipment. And it's a good script. It was written by Harold Ramis and Dan Aykroyd. And it's pretty much because at the time we were never going to get a third movie. So we made a game. It takes place in like 91. So they look like themselves younger still, And it's a fun game. I beat it already on PlayStation 3 like a couple years ago. Maybe more. And but PS3, it's not backwards compatible. Or PlayStation 4. And, I got rid of my PlayStation 3 when I went to England, so I kept my 4. So when I got the Xbox One, I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. I can get it, buy the disc, and it'll play it. And so I got to keep that now, especially. But if they are making the third movie, which they're rumored to do, obviously Harold Ramis has passed away, so he's not. They'll have him some way in it. But if that happens, I'm excited to see what happens. I mean, the girl one was, I know, Answer the Call. That's better to call it that than the girl one. But Answer the Call was okay. I mean, it exists. And again, I don't blame any of the women in the film. They're fine. It just didn't click, I guess. And the plot was, nah. It wasn't them. It was everything else too. So we'll see how this one goes. This one's, I think, written or directed by Ivan Reitman's son. And Ivan Reitman did the original Ghostbusters movies, the first two. So, that's pretty cool. Let's go back to Facebook. Yeah, people are just arguing. Yeah, that's all people do on this. What does this guy want? Arby's. Yeah. Funny story. Anyway. Why am I on that page? Home. Let's see who's out there. Yes, I have been doing this for a long time. I know it doesn't look like it on camera, but yeah, I've been, doing podcasts and radio for 10 years. With my radio experience being at a radio station for a year, but I've been doing like podcasts and radio stuff online for 9 years, and I got another year before I hit my 10-year, and either I'll jump off a bridge or I won't. But, yeah. And, speaking of which, Ghostbusters, I got this entire Ghostbuster book right here that has everything in it. I think the remakes are in it, too. Or maybe it's just about the originals. I have to go through it again, but it's pretty cool. I quit playing Fallout 76 and installed that bitch. It sucks. I mean, this guy's cool. This little robot here. But, yeah, I wasn't going to play it. And they needed room on my PlayStation. And Nicole's killing it on Dead by Daylight, so I'm like, what can I get rid of this? Plus, I've been playing Mortal Kombat on it. So, yeah, I've been playing Ghostbusters, playing Mortal Kombat XL. The new one's going to come out, I think, March or April. I'm not sure. That'll be cool. I'm excited for that, because Mortal Kombats are always pretty good. I didn't like the 3D ones too much. but I do like. I didn't mind DC versus Mortal Kombat. I thought that was kind of cool. Because eventually it spawned an Injustice, which are pretty good, and then Mortal Kombat 9, which is like a retelling through time travel of the original Mortal Kombat trilogy, and then Mortal Kombat X, hence 10. And so now it's going to be Mortal Kombat 11. They got Cabal in it again, Baraka. So they're bringing back some favorites that were missing in this game. So we shall see how that comes out. I don't know much about it yet. I might go on Twitch to find out, but I don't know much. I haven't, it's not out yet. What other games? There's this game, Vampire, I'm going to check out. It's been out for months now, like I think way before Christmas. But I want to check that out. That looks pretty cool. I downloaded Knights of the Old Republic from the original Xbox on there. They don't have Jaws, though. I have Jaws Unleashed on my Xbox, like the original Xbox disc, because I traded in a bunch of other games. Because, again, I was moving to England, and I'm like, well, I don't really have room for all this. And I traded everything in, but I had to keep the Jaws game because I'm a big Jaws. I mean, I'm like one of the biggest Jaws fans. So I kept the game in the box, and that's cool. But they don't have it for backwards compatibility, unfortunately. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I can find it on PC and play it on here, but I don't know if I looked hard enough or what. You know what? Time for another beer. It's 11 o'clock. So normally I would do this for the whole hour, but I started late. And there ain't really much going on. This is kind of just a chill, but this is a chill show. So every show can end up like this, and I'll still do it because I can talk to myself for an hour. 45 minutes, whatever. Anyway, don't forget to check out Charwell and El Bandito's Power Hour Love. Again, looks way more professional. Good guys. They have a great show. I'm occasionally on it when they do horror stuff, especially. Usually around Friday the 13th. And then, of course, on Instagram, check out J Mcpatches. That's me, Underground Horror Radio on Instagram as well. Like I said, available on Podbean. Just look up Not For Air Radio. It'll be there. Or look up Underground Horror Radio. Shalko Rama of Lake Worth. Please check it out if you like classic movies. They're awesome. I explained all that last week. So yeah, I think that's gonna do it for tonight. Could have been worse. It always could be. And I like to do every show like it's the last show. Well, this one I didn't go all out, but there's next week. Fuck it, right? Why be stressed over it? I don't see the point. Okay. So before we go, I am going to play one more thing. Not a lot of it, but let's see if this is it. It is. Okay. Well, anyway, good night, everybody. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week for a Valentine's special.